BBC Breakfast's report on the far right and the coverage of the Unite the Kingdom rally sparked fury. BBC Breakfast's Newswatch segment sparked fury today as Samira Ahmed addressed the backlash the BBC was facing about their recent coverage. Two major segments were addressed: was the BBC's coverage of the Unite the Kingdom march, as Newswatch asked if it was fair, and the coverage of US President Donald Trump's visit to the UK. As Newswatch showed clips of Unite the Kingdom being described as far-right, Samira addressed the fury the BBC had faced as a result, as she read out comments from people who rejected the term far-right, and insisted while it had been organised by Tommy Robinson, a lot of people taking part were people who have had enough of what we see and hear every day. Another added that she heard from the BBC was far-right this, and far-right that, before accusing the broadcaster of playing down the turnout numbers and highlighting the small number of violent interactions with the police. A third commenter said the BBC should have focused on how many people were flying the Union Jack to show pride for their country. However, others said that the BBC put too much prominence to the protest, as they begged the broadcaster to not incite further hatred by giving airtime to these people. The BBC issued a comment in response as it clarified that they had explained the rally had been arranged by far-right activist Tommy Robinson, as they insisted that they heard varying reasons from people about why they were there, which was included in the coverage, and they relied on the police for the number of attendees. The segment sparked frustration from viewers, as one said, "Your newsreaders are an absolute joke calling the Unite March far-right, that are normal people wanting rights for British citizens." Another added, "Nope. Hardly any coverage of the biggest march London has ever seen, not a national company at all, most biased TV channel on TV." A third agreed, "Typical at BBC giving misinformation by branding the marchers as right-wing, and reporting far less numbers than were in attendance." A fourth swiped, "Hey, just seen this. 2 years ago I stopped listening to the BBC. I want you defunded because you and I have nothing in common, nothing." A fifth agreed, "Defund the BBC and their overpaid, overrated presenters." But one viewer chimed in, "Far too much coverage of this Tommy Robinson march. Promoting a known criminal and another way of promoting reform. I strongly object to my license fee being used for propaganda purposes." Another concurred, "BBC News guilty of promoting Tommy Robinson and Trump, and your 10-minute slot reconfirms what we already know. Where are the reports on Farage, reform finances?"